Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you all are here. I know some of you, and some of you I'm excited to meet. My name is Bridget Berger, and I am the director of the Cape Cod STEM Network and All STEM Starter Academy at 4Cs. Oh, we have Brian coming in. Okay. So today we have a great session set up for you all about mentoring. And I titled it Mentoring Make It Happen because mentoring just doesn't just happen. It takes two, right? You need your mentor, but also we need students, and we need students to make it happen. Okay. I think by the end of today's session, that'll make sense a little more, hopefully. So if you please turn your camera on to join us. Hey, Brian, well, glad you're here. Welcome. And as we go along, if you have questions, any questions at all, go ahead and put them in the chat. You can make them public to everyone, or you can send them direct message to me, Bridget Berger, and I will be curating the questions as we go along at the end in the Q&A. So our agenda for today is I'm going to talk a little bit about STEM Starter Academy and why mentoring. And then we have Tawny Rosier-Beard, who's here to give us an overview of the STEM Mentoring Network platform that we have set up. If you have already signed up as a mentee on the platform, can you give me a thumbs up in your screen, or a clap, or celebrate, or cry, or something? Give me one of those reactions. Has anyone here already signed up, created a profile? Oh, good. We're going to really go through this step by step. I love it. And at the end, we'll have the Q&A. So really, don't be shy. This is a small group. At the end, we can unmute ourselves and probably have a discussion. Okay. But to help get the questions rolling, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Okay. All right. So next slide, please. So for those of you that don't know me, here's a little bit about one of the programs that I coordinate here at 4Cs. It's called STEM Starter Academy. It's funded by the Department of Higher Education. There is a STEM Starter Academy at all 15 Massachusetts community college campuses. And what we do is we use success coaching and to support student retention, meaning staying in school at 4Cs, completion, meaning graduation, transfer to a four-year school, and placement into a job. So whatever your goal is, STEM Starter Academy can help you. And also STEM Starter Academy can help you set that goal. So if you are in a STEM degree or certificate, or interested to be in one, which all of you are, because I just asked you, I know that each of you could be in STEM Starter Academy, and several of you are, but if you are not part of STEM Starter Academy, I invite you right now to join. And I'm going to be following up with you after this in an email to invite you to be part of this. And what you get is you get a lot out of it. I do a lot of one-on-one. I connect people with internships. I use my connections. I basically help you get across the finish line and stay focused on that. So it's an awesome program. This is my contact information. And anytime, reach out. But Hugo and Gabby, I'm going to reach out to you guys. Okay. Next slide, please. All right. I also coordinate the Cape Cod Regional STEM Network. And as part of this, we have this phenomenal website, and I created a jobs and internships board. Just for example, for today, we listed 2 new internships with the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy. They're local internships. They're amazing work opportunities. And I personally know most of the people. Please look at that website and look for internships that you might be interested in. The other thing that I do is I can help you apply to those internships. One of the things we do with STEM Starter Academy is we hold resume writing workshops, LinkedIn workshops. Coming up next, and I'll tell you about it next, is we have mock interviews where I bring HR managers from STEM companies in to practice. Absolutely no harm, no foul. You get to just practice in this mock interview. And I can't even tell you how many times we've just started the interview over because the student realized, wait, that's not how I want to do that. And that's what the mock interviews are all about. We get you ready. So we've got a lot of supports to help you land these jobs and internships. And so please check that site out. I'll be sending you this PowerPoint so that you can get those links from this PowerPoint after our session. Okay, next slide, please. All right, I want to tell you about another program for those of you that are transferring to a four-year school. We have a program called STEM Summer Transfer Bridge, and this is at each of the state schools. So this slide looks a little fuzzy, but I think you can see Bridgewater State this is the flyer for Bridgewater State. We have a program at UMass Lowell, UMass Amherst, UMass Dartmouth, Salem State, at every state school. If you are headed there for your next step, you can apply and they give you free coursework. You get to meet people in the programs that you're going into. You get to meet the admissions folks. And it's a really great way to get your start at a campus that's much bigger than 4Cs. You know, it's a bigger deal. And so this is a way that we support students who are moving on from 4Cs. So the link is there, and in a couple weeks, that link will be open for applications. It's just one application for each of those schools. So definitely apply. All right, next slide, please. Now I want to talk to you about why mentoring. Okay, so I'm going to kind of breeze through this because I really just want to make sure that we hear from Tawny and the step-by-step. But I first think it's important to understand why. Why are we even doing this? So data shows, study after study after study, especially in STEM, especially for women in STEM, and especially for underrepresented minority groups. So what do I mean by that? By that, I mean people of color, women, Latino, Black. These are populations that are underrepresented in STEM. For everyone, mentoring is very impactful, but especially for those underrepresented groups in STEM, including women, that students are more successful when they have a mentor. And that's not really rocket science. I mean, I think everyone is more successful when you have someone who's in your corner, who's rooting for you, who's been there before. But the study after study shows that when you have a mentor, it really, really helps you be successful. And so how does it do that? I've had experience with this, and I can tell you, you keep your focus. Your mentor can keep you focused on your goals, but also they can help you chart the path. They've done this before, and they are in the field already. They will tell you how to get to where you want to go and along which pathways would probably be best for you. They can really give you a lot of guidance. That guidance will be unique to you. You will gain insight into yourself by talking to a mentor. You won't have to take the exact path that your mentor took. They will help to tailor it to you. And in that process, you really become aware. You become self-aware, you gain insight into yourself, and it really becomes about you. It becomes a time where you can focus on yourself and what you want to do and achieve and how, because that makes a difference too. You might want to do things in a way that's right for you. So it's very empowering to have a mentor because they're just there in your corner, helping you figure out you and your next steps. It's open-ended. The platform that we've designed here is a platform where there's really not a commitment. Like, we did this mentoring program before, and I know Brian was in it. Was anyone else here in that mentoring program where we were in person? Sam, did you do it? Yeah, you had a mentor? Yeah. So, you know, with that, you were paired up with one person or we had so many students want to do it that we had a small group with one mentor. So we had a small group mentoring, or we had one-on-one mentoring, and you stayed with that mentor for the whole semester. But the way that we've designed this virtual platform is you can actually have several mentors. You can ask just a question, and that can be the experience that you have with a mentor. Or you can ask them, hey, will you be my mentor? Will you work with me through this semester? These are the goals that I have. So it's open-ended. You can also ask them, really, a lot of the people that I know have signed up we have 40 mentors who are signed up, ready to help and work with you. You know, they're open. If you had a question that, you know, you didn't feel comfortable asking your professors, ask a mentor. Send it to a mentor in this platform. It's really open. So you can receive guidance specific to STEM. So STEM has unique challenges. It has math, for example, is really one of the big stumbling blocks for most in STEM. It has unique challenges. STEM degrees are more difficult generally than any other degree. So there are unique challenges there. There can be challenges to managing your time, to having to retake classes, pay for those classes. There are just challenges that come along with the rigor that a STEM degree has. These people in this platform have already done that and been successful at it. I think there's a lot to be said for asking people, how did you do it? How should I do it? Who have done it right, right? So in all of that, when you're connecting with someone and asking them, you know, am I on the right track? Am I doing this? What do you think I should do? This builds confidence. I think a big part of being successful is having the confidence and not questioning yourself, not doubting yourself, not second guessing, but really just having that confidence that there's someone in your corner, like I said, and that you're on the right track. And then there's so much that comes from taking the action, taking the steps. You get that self-esteem. It's just an awesome development that happens with mentoring. So the other thing is we have interest groups. We've got a couple different interest groups that you could join, and you can tell me, one of the things I'm hoping for this conversation is to learn from you. Are there other special interest groups that we should create as part of this mentoring platform? I've created a couple, but we can create more. And when you are part of this mentoring platform, understand that, you know, we've got 40 people on this platform. They each have a network of, I don't know, what's the average LinkedIn network? 200? You know, you're getting a lot more than just your mentor. You're getting all of their classmates from college and graduate program and PhD. You're getting their family and friends. You're getting their neighbors. So when you're reaching out to some of these people, it may not be that they have the internship, but they may know someone who has the internship. And this is how I got a lot of my jobs, was by a referral, that someone knew somebody who said, hey, there's this internship open, you should apply. There's a job open, why don't you give me your resume and I'll walk it over there, this kind of thing. This is how things happen in hiring often, right? It's just getting into the pile of resumes to be considered. So you're not going to do it alone. You're not alone. You've got help. And that's what this session is all about. All right. Next slide, please. So it's now up to 40. When I made this slide, it was 35. So we have now 40 on there. They are in all kinds of fields: engineering, marine biology, healthcare, IT, cybersecurity, and more. We've got Sencorp White, Hui, who else is on there? Tech, I think someone from Teledyne. If you don't see someone, you let me know. If you don't see someone that you think could be a mentor to you, let me know, because then I will go out and research and find someone. But on this platform, Tawny can show you that there's a way to search for keywords and background and companies. There's just so many ways that you could find out, oh, that person that's doing marine technology actually has a chemistry degree. So like Trent, you with the chemistry and Sam with the marine engineering might actually both have something to connect with this one mentor on, and that's okay. This one mentor is not dedicated just to one student. Okay, so you have to do a little bit of research about the mentors. Who's on there? It's people who are representing their whole company. Like the guy from Sencorp White is the VP of sales and marketing. So understand that he's representing the bulk, you know, he will be able to connect you with others at Sencorp White. So it might be where the company decided to send one person on to the platform to represent the company. And it might be where you have several people, like from Hui, I think we have 4 or 5 people signed up from Hui. So they're there as individuals. We've also got retirees. So that's amazing. Is there diversity in this platform? Yes. Okay. And we're building. So like I said, there are affinity groups, and that's another important way to identify and connect and relate specifically with interests and backgrounds and goals and purposes. They are local, but we also have companies that are regional and expanding from there. So, you know, Hui is a local company, but it's not a local company. This is the global leader in oceanographic research. So you'll find there's a lot already there and we're building. Okay, and this is the picture of the website. When you go to the website, that's what you should see, the STEM Mentoring Network. And just behind that circle, it says get advice or give advice. You want to click on the get advice, but I think Tawny's going to walk us through that. Okay, all right, next slide. I'm almost done here. I'm going over. Okay, so what can mentors help you with? Just a conversation. You can ask them a question. You can ask them just to chat. And like I said, almost about anything. I mean, the focus is on career exploration in general, but I think that people would be really open to you asking a question. Can you, then next you can explore career pathways. You can talk to them about, hey, what kind of jobs are there? What kind of degrees? So I've got a cybersecurity associate's degree. Where can I go from here? And that could be the question that you send to them and say, what are your thoughts on whether I need a bachelor's or not? I think for cybersecurity, that's a really important question right now to ask is, do you need a bachelor's, or are you going to work for a big company that will train you in and give you certificates and hire you to do what they need you to do without having to get a bachelor's? This is a great conversation to ask some of the mentors. If you have a resume, you're applying to an internship, send someone your resume and ask them for help. They've offered to be someone to review your resume. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that when I was your age. I'll just tell you right now. Same with the cover letter. Same with finding an internship or a job. Just ask, hey, I would love to have an internship at SendCorp White. Do you have any? That's a perfectly good email to send to the gentleman from SendCorp White. Practicing for an interview, absolutely. There are people on there like Garrett from Tech Systems, and he said he's happy to help you practice for an interview. So when you see the icons, these icons here aren't what you see. I just made these from PowerPoint, but on the platform, you will see that they've indicated what they're available for, and practicing mock interviews is one of them. Professional networking, that's where you're saying, here's my goals. Here's what I'm looking to do. Do you know anybody that might be able to help me? Now, that one might come after you've asked them to help clarify your goals, help you with a resume, or talk about an internship. Maybe that one is where they want to get to know you a little more. So I wrote these up because I think it's kind of a progression here. And if you don't know, just ask. So don't be shy is my main message here. There's lots of things that you can do with mentors, and it's all done within the platform in this virtual era. It's just pretty amazing that we can get this done. So next slide. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tawny. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Hi, everyone. I'm very glad to be here with you today. My name is Tawny Rosier-Bird, and I'm from Firsthand. So Firsthand is a software company, and we host the technology that helps to host the STEM Mentoring Network. So we work with a lot of different colleges and universities, other organizations in the professional space, and we help to set up these mentoring platforms. So today I'm going to walk you through the platform, how you can register, how you can find a mentor, reach out to them, and request a conversation so you can start making these connections and receiving these benefits that Bridget has been speaking about. So I think, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can walk through everything together. All right, and hopefully all of you can see that. So this is what I'm showing you here. So this is that landing page that Bridget was showing before in one of the previous slides. So if you go to this link here, capecod.firsthand.co, it's going to take you to the platform. And then from here, you'll be able to go ahead and register for an account. So what you'll do, as Bridget said before, is just click on this Get Advice button, and then that's going to guide you through the registration process. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to click the Register Now button since I'm creating a new account. Otherwise, you could use this form to just log in if you're coming back to the site and you've already got an account. So first thing here is just accepting the terms and conditions. The registration process, you'll see it's only going to take a couple minutes, and then we'll be kind of off to the races and able to meet with some mentors. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept. And then the next thing you'll see here is we have two options for registering. So the first option, which is what I would recommend, is that you autofill your account with LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn account. So if you have a LinkedIn account, you can just kind of use your LinkedIn credentials and it's going to fill in a lot of the information, a lot of the fields that are going to be asked during registration. If not, you can just go ahead and type it yourself. It might take you a couple minutes longer, but still the process is very, very straightforward and pretty quick. So I'm just going to go ahead here and log into a demo account that I have, and we'll do it through LinkedIn. So once this kind of goes through and accepts my credentials, then I'll go back to firsthand. It's just going to take me to the firsthand registration flow. And you can see that the name and the first and last name that I have on my demo LinkedIn account, everything is just kind of pulling in here. So all the slides that you're going to see coming up next, it's going to look exactly the same, even if you don't register with LinkedIn. It's just going to mean that you're going to have to type in your name and things like that as you go along. So I'm just going to click next here, and then it's just going to ask for email and phone number. So you're not required to enter your phone number, but it's something that we recommend. And that's just because the system has automated text messages that are built into it. So if you book a meeting with a mentor and that meeting gets confirmed, you'll get a confirmation to your phone. The other thing that you'll get with this that's just really helpful is if you have a meeting scheduled, you'll get a reminder an hour before that meeting. You'll just get it to your phone. It'll get sent as a text. So it's just easier than having to check your email. So if you don't sign up for the text, you'll just get an email confirmation and an email reminder, etc. So I'm just going to put in a fake number here, and then we'll keep going. So next, just asking me to set up a password. So I'll fill that in. So it's going to pull your current location from your LinkedIn account. Again, if you're not using LinkedIn, you'd be able to just type this in yourself. And it has autocomplete from Google, so it'll recognize what you start typing. And then it'll pull in your LinkedIn photo by default. If you don't want to use your LinkedIn photo, you just click the link right here, and that's going to pop up the file attachment module from your computer. So you'll just be able to attach a file from there. Next thing it's asking for is your education information. So if you have this on your LinkedIn, it'll pull in. So same thing here. If you didn't use LinkedIn, you'd just be asked to fill in your expected graduation year and month. After that, it's asking about your degree and your field of study. So this is just pulling from the LinkedIn account that I created. If you have other things or other certificates or degrees or other kinds of educational experience that is not on your LinkedIn, you can also just go ahead and add other degrees, other fields of study. So even if you are using LinkedIn, you can still edit this information. It's not like you're locked into whatever was on your LinkedIn account. So going from there, this is actually referring to, Bridget touched on this before, that there are different affinity groups within the platform. So these are a few different groups that exist on the platform, and I'll show you what this means a little bit later when we actually get into our account. I'll show you what the group pages look like. But at this point, you can opt into joining any of the available groups that exist within the platform. So I'm just going to go ahead and select a couple. Next question is just about the languages that you speak. By default, it's going to have English checked off, but you can click this to add a language. The reason that we ask for languages is there's essentially a matching algorithm within the platform. So we look at all the data that you're putting in, like your degree. This will make more sense in a couple of slides, but your career interests, and then we'll take that and we'll match you take a look at the pool of advisors within the platform, and we'll match you with someone who kind of has an overlap with you. So adding additional languages, if you speak Spanish, we may find mentors or advisors who also speak Spanish. So that's just another commonality, another way to find commonalities between mentors and mentees. So after that, so that first section was just kind of getting your personal info and, getting all that squared away. But next we're going to dive into what your specific career interests are. So I'll just click the button here. And then, so the first thing that we ask for is the number one thing that you're hoping a mentor can help you with. So that could be, landing a job, navigating your academic career, getting into school, or you'll see that we also have this figure out what I should be doing option. Just because we realize that, part of the process of working with a mentor is maybe figuring out what you should be studying and what internships you should be trying to get to kind of get you to the career paths that you might be interested in, or maybe just discussing different fields that you could be interested in, but maybe you want to talk to someone who has that experience. So you can kind of get a sense of, what that day to day is like. So there are always those kind of more general options that you'll see here as we go through. So I'm going to just select this top one. Depending on what you choose on that prior slide, it's going to give you a list of items that kind of fall within that category. So since I said that I was interested in job and career, it's giving me different options that fall under that. So it's asking me to choose 3 different things from this category that I could use help with. So I can select, my resume, my job search, writing a cover letter, all these types of things that you would need to work on as you're looking to find jobs and internships, etc. So after I've selected those 3, then what's going to happen, it's going to go through a series of different questions, which we call career goals. So asking you what industries you're interested in, where you see yourself living, working, the types of roles you might like to have within the next few years, just so we can get a sense of how to match you with a mentor. So as you can see here, it's asking where you could see yourself living in the next 5 years. So you can go in and just start typing in different cities. You can add up to 10 here. And the nice thing is there's a little kind of some data here at the bottom left that lets you know what the top 3 cities are amongst the mentors on this network. So, if you're interested in working in Falmouth, then you can see that there are a lot of mentors on the platform that are in that area. So you can go in, and as I said, you can add up to 10. I'll just add a couple, and then we can keep going. So next, it's asking about industries. So you can go ahead and start typing in industries that you might be interested in. And same here, you can add up to 10, and you can also see what the top industries are amongst the advisors or mentors in your location. So moving on to employers. So we also ask if there are specific companies that you may like to work for. The algorithm will also take a look at the network and see if there are mentors who work for those companies, and you can again see the top 3. And for all of these questions, it's perfectly okay to say, I'm not really sure. If you're still figuring it out, figuring out what industry you want to work in, figuring out what companies you're interested in, you can just click this button and then it'll take you to the next step. So lastly, we ask about job roles. So just the types of positions you may like to have. It's the same here, just going in and adding a couple of options. Okay, and that's it. So that's all we have to answer in order to get onto the platform. We get to this page and it just asks you to confirm. You can kind of read over all the information that you've added in. If anything is incorrect, or maybe you changed your mind and said, I don't want to say that I'm interested in computer software, you can go back and you can always edit any of the previous questions. And even at this step, once you've completed your registration, you can always edit your profile, edit your interests, edit literally anything that we've gone through and added here. So nothing is set in stone. Once you do this, there's this button right here. We try to encourage everyone when they sign up to go ahead, and as part of the registration process, we try to get them to go ahead and book their first meeting with a mentor. So you'll see that the system has already matched you with some mentors who would be a good fit for you based off of your answers to all of the questions. So it's going to give you about 10 different examples depending on how well you match up with people. And you can kind of scroll through. And here you're getting a little snapshot, like kind of a little mini version of what their user profile looks like. And this will make more sense as we get into the actual platform and I can show you the profile pages. But it's just giving you some information on each person's work experience, their education. So you can kind of review this and see maybe there's someone who works somewhere at a company that you're really interested in or has a certain educational background that is appealing to you as well. And the hope is that you'll go ahead and then just click this button right here where it says, meet Denise. And then what happens from here, which is really great, is just to kind of back up a step, when the mentors register for this platform, they have the ability to set the times that they're available per day. So they can sync their account up with their calendar, their work or personal calendar, or they can go in and set specific time slots that they want to be available for mentees to book with them. So you don't have to worry about, catching them at an off time. They've already pre-volunteered to speak with you, by registering for this platform. They've clearly indicated that they're willing to help students. So what you can do at this step is just go through and see what available time slots they have on these different days. So I'm going to go in, select one time. The system is going to have me suggest 3 different times to the person so that they can kind of get a variety and then select whichever works best for them. So I'll just kind of go through and select some times on a few different days here. And then what you'll see is that after I've selected my 3 times, what it does is it auto generates a message that I can send to this mentor. So based off of my answers to all the questions that we saw when I was registering, so, I'm class of 2022, studying computer science, etc. It's filling all of that out into a message that I can send to Denise. And now this message is editable. So if you don't want to use the language that we have, you can always go in and delete and add and tweak this as needed. But the last thing is that we want is you to get to the step of sending your request and not exactly knowing what to write. So we have some details here for you to kind of guide that message. You can also attach a file. So let's say if you were hoping to speak with this person, maybe to do a resume critique or something like that, it could make sense to just go ahead and attach your resume so that they can review it in advance of the meeting. And so if I won't actually send this, but if we were to send this, then Denise would get a notification to her email. She'd see this message. She would see the 3 times that I'm suggesting, and then she could just click one of them and accept it, and we would be confirmed. If for some reason none of the 3 times worked, she would be able to reply back to me and just suggest 3 alternate times that I would then be able to accept. So I'm not actually going to do that. I'm just going to back up a little bit. If for some reason you were not booking your first meeting through the registration process, you can click this button here down at the bottom where it says Find My Mentor Later. And then it's just kind of confirming that you're done with registration, a little bit of a background about how this all works. So just kind of reiterating that the mentors have raised their hands to help you. Like I said, they've pre-volunteered. They're definitely willing to dedicate some time to this, and just more encouragement to go ahead and book your consultation. So I'm going to click this button here where it says Got it, and then that's just going to route me into my user dashboard. So your user dashboard, this is just kind of your centralized place for managing everything. If you had upcoming meetings that were either requested or confirmed, they would show up in this space and you would see just a little icon with your mentor's picture, their name. If the time was confirmed, you would see the date and time of your meeting as well. And the meetings themselves, they actually happen through the platform. There's a video conferencing tool that's integrated here. So you never have to share your actual phone number or email or exchange Zoom links or anything like that with the mentors that are here. what happens is if you had a meeting booked, you'd be able to click on the icon for that meeting at the time that it starts. And it would basically take you into a meeting room that looks something like this. So this is just an example screenshot, but I'm sure you're all very comfortable with this. It works very similar to Zoom. You can connect using audio and camera. You can do audio only and mute, hide your camera. Or if you wanted to dial in with a phone number, it'll give you a conference dial-in number too. So that's how that would work. Um, Also, if you scroll down to this section for people, this is also just going to give you a list of your top matches. So again, based off of the answers that I included in registration, it's showing me some people that would be good mentors for me. And each person has a match score, so I can see kind of how much do they overlap with me and what I'm interested in. And so if you wanted to book time with one of these people, what you can do is just click View Profile. And then this is taking you to their full profile page. So like what I was showing you at the end of registration, you kind of got a little snapshot of the person's background, but this is their full profile page where you can see their name, their title. Some people have included, it's not on this particular one, but some people have included a little kind of short bio at the top here. So you may see that as well at certain points. You can also click up here and message, send a private message to one of the mentors. So maybe you want to do that and ask a quick question or see if maybe it makes sense to schedule a time to meet. If you wanted to do that before taking the step of actually booking something, that's something that's available if you just click on the button at the top here. So as Bridget was talking about in her intro, there's a variety of different ways that you can get help on this platform. So you'll see that each advisor or mentor here has a list of things that you can reach out to them for. So when they're registering and when they're creating their accounts, they get a list of help topics that they can review, and then they're able to opt into different ones. So depending on their background or their experience or the level of time commitment that they can make, they'll opt into different types of advice that they can offer. And so you can see Kaylee, she's opted into 8 different types here. And then when we actually book a meeting with her, we'll be able to select from one of these topic areas, and that will be the topic area that guides our conversation. Also, just really quickly, we have her work history, her educational history, so we can kind of see her background. And then if we're ready to go ahead and book time with her, what we would do is just use this booking module over here. So we would click on the topic area and then just choose one of these topics that she's opted into. And you can see how much time is blocked off for all of these different types of meetings from here. You can see some are 30, some are 60 minutes. It doesn't really matter how much time you actually spend in the meeting. The meeting room won't close after 30 or 60 minutes. So if you're having a great conversation and you both can keep, chatting, then that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and select the mock interview. And then this is very similar to what we saw when we were registering. We can just kind of go through and select a few different times that we want to suggest to Kaylee. So I'll just quickly choose some. And so same as before, it's going to give us some prompts to send her a message along with this request. We can also attach a file. And then when we're ready to send it off to her and so that she receives an email, we'll just click send request. So you have your top matches that we saw there in that section on our dashboard, which is great, but you can also search for mentors just on this mentor search page. So if you click on the mentors link here at the top navigation bar, what you'll get is you'll get a list of all the mentors that are part of this network. So you can see, Kaylee's here again, she's your top match. And there's a list of all the different mentors. There's different pages here that you can kind of scroll through. But the nice thing is that there are a variety of different filters here. And we have some search tips. So you can search by keyword. So if maybe someone told you the name of someone specific that's on this platform, you can search for them by name. You can search by industry. You can search by job title. Literally any keyword that's in their profile will come up by using this search. And then you can also filter them a variety of other different ways. So If you are specifically looking for a certain type of advice, maybe you need to put together a cover letter specifically. So you might check that off and see which mentors on the platform are opted into the cover letter critique type. So from there, you could then click on these people's profiles. You could book a cover letter critique session with them and take things from there. So these are all for advice topics. Beyond the different advice topics, you can also filter people by different aspects of their background. So such as the employers that they've worked for. There's a list of the most common ones here, but you can also click the button and then start to type in specific companies and it will filter by the companies. You can filter by location, what they studied in school, industries. So, if you are specifically looking for, I don't know, someone in computer and network security, you might check that off and see if you have any options. So we don't have any for that one, but maybe that's an area that will build up as the network gets built out. But that would be how you would filter. And then again, just clicking on the profile and submitting your request to meet that way. So mentoring and booking these one-on-one sessions, this is kind of the major focus of the platform, but we do also have some other resources. So one thing that I mentioned before when we were registering, and Bridget also mentioned before, is that we have these different affinity groups on the platform. So as you saw when I registered, I think I opted into Women in STEM and I think Cape Cod Blue Economy as well. But you can see that each group has its own page on the site. And if you click into a specific group page, you can see an image, a description of the group. You can see a list of members, a list of people that are in the group. If any of these members are mentors, you'll see this book a meeting icon here. That'll take you to their profile page. You can then do the same process of reaching out and requesting a meeting time. But the other great thing about these group pages is just that they also have a discussion forum on them. So you can post questions, you can post comments, you can also link out to a website or something like that. So if I click on here and I start to post something, you'll see I can also include a link. So it's just a nice way, an additional way of connecting with people on the platform, whether they be mentors or mentees or students. It's just another way that you can network and kind of share different updates and questions and things that people might be interested in. I know we're starting to run short on time. I just have a couple of quick things to mention. Resources. So this is another helpful section here. We have a career video library. So if you click on resources, you can see that we have just under 200 different videos that Firsthand has produced that cover a variety of different career topics. And same with the mentor search page. We have all of these different filters here on the left-hand side. So if you were maybe interested again in seeing a video on a specific industry or employer, you could use these different filters to try to find something that's of interest to you. Same thing as the advisor search page. You also have keyword search. So if I'm interested in tech, I can search for tech videos, and then it's going to give me a bunch of results. Last thing about the resources. So if you wanted to view a video, you would, of course, just click on it. It's going to load it up here, and then you can either like videos or you can save them. Any videos that you save, if you then go back to the main resource page, it's going to save them under this My Library tab. So if we click My Library, we can see it's going to start saving all of the videos that I've saved are going to come up under My Library. So I'll be able to go back and find them very easily in the future. Really quick, last thing, we do. I think you guys have an additional job board that's separate, but this is pulling in jobs that are posted by other client platforms that Firsthand has. So if people post jobs and they choose to kind of cross post them on other platforms, those jobs will come up here. Also, the mentors are able to post jobs that they may have at their companies on this page, and this functions exactly the same as all the other pages where you've got your filters. And then if you click on learn more, these jobs will take you to the application pages on the job sites, so that you can apply and learn more. Also, if there's any kind of connection between these jobs, like the company or the job title or something like that, with a mentor that exists on your platform, it'll show these people as possible connections that you may want to speak to before actually applying to this job. So if there's someone that kind of has a background either at this company or in healthcare, hospital care, or kind of in this geographic area, it will show them as someone that you maybe would want to consult with. So if you click on consult, it's just going to take you to Julia's profile so that you could book time with her maybe before or, as you go through the process of applying for this job. So that is basically it. I did mention before that if you wanted to edit anything in your profile, you'd be able to do that once you created your account. So if you just click on your name at the top right here, you'll be able to edit your profile, view your profile, look back at any messages you've sent with your requests, see a list of people you've met with, and also see a list of upcoming meetings, but those will also be listed on your dashboard as well. So I think that's it for me. We can hand it over to questions at this point.
Awesome, Tawny. Thank you so much. Guys who are the students who are still here, now's your chance. Ask questions. Tawny, while they're thinking about that, you guys, students, please put your questions in the chat. And Tawny, I have a question for you because I know one of our mentors is in computer networking and cybersecurity, but he didn't show up in that sphere. So how would you recommend students search in terms of broader keywords or other ways to find that person Garrett? Like, I wonder if it took just his job description is in HR, but he's HR in cyber and tech and knows a lot of people. So it's like, I wonder with how the platform works, if you have advice for really catching the most mentors that you can.
Yeah, I think so. I think the reason that he didn't show up, when you register, you can tag your work history or so your different roles to an industry. I'm guessing maybe it was tagged to a different industry, or like if his role is in HR, so it didn't maybe come up that way. Another thing that he could potentially do is, I don't know if we can find someone who has this, but I was mentioning before that some of the advisors, they will add a little kind of about me section at the top of their profile. It's something that they can edit when they're registering or updating their profile. Maybe that could be something that we could try to encourage the mentors to include, like a little bit of background. So that could be a place where he might be able to say, I'm working in HR, but for the, in the security industry.
Yeah.
As long as that word is on his profile, it'll come up if we do a keyword search on the mentor page we were on.
Okay. Maybe that's something we could do in the training then, is encourage, because I realized that as we did that, I was like, oh, wow, he doesn't come up. But I think there's a lot here already. And like I said before, students, we're building this, so there will be more. So definitely get comfortable with it, explore and dig in. As you can see, even on, like, for example, on this mentor, Molly, she's now a mechanical engineer, but she's been a lab assistant. So even if you want to be a lab assistant, you could talk with her, and she's done marketing before that. So, there would be lots of conversations that you could have with her, not necessarily about her current position, but about things she's done before. So you do kind of have to dig in and look for those keywords and get to know the mentors that are on the profile to see on the platform. We have about 5 minutes for Q&A. Would anyone like to just go ahead and unmute and ask a question? I have one question that just came in. We'll take that first, and then maybe you guys could unmute. So certain jobs have mentors that you can connect with, and they can help with what to expect. Okay, and they can help with what to. Trent, do you feel comfortable just unmuting?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Can you clarify your question for us? Because that's a great question.
Yeah, so like under the job description, there's already mentors under there. And just to clarify, I suppose, so there's certain mentors under there and you can connect with them and you can ask them certain, questions and like they can help you prepare for the interviews for those jobs or I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, great question. So yes, you may see some of these jobs have people listed under them. These are all mentors on the STEM Network platform. If someone either posted that job or if there's some kind of overlap between what they've done professionally and that specific job, they'll show up as someone that you may want to kind of discuss this particular job with. So depending on the algorithm within the system is looking at a bunch of different things. It's looking at the name of the company that this opening is with. It's looking at the job title. It's looking at the industry, just a bunch of different dimensions. And then it's matching it up with someone who probably either because they maybe worked at this company in the past or maybe they held that job title before. There's just some kind of overlap there that makes them most likely a good person to have a conversation with if you're interested in applying for that job, or if you've already applied to it and you're kind of going through the interview process. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Sorry, yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I would say, Tawny, what do you think about this? Because, for example, these jobs are just the ones that firsthand is aware of. On our jobs board, we've got the WHOI internship, let's say, that we're about to list, or just that you become aware of an internship. How would a student then go back to find out who's got a connection with that company? Like, this is not the complete list of people who can help you land a job. If you go back and you type in WHOI, you'll see there are 4 or 5 people employed at WHOI. They could also help you in that same way. So you could book an appointment to say, hey, I'm applying for this internship. Do you have advice on what to expect for my interview? Did you, how can I be better prepared? Those kind of questions, you could go back through that keyword search on the mentor page, I think.
Yes, definitely. And Bridget, maybe this is something we can talk about at another point in time, but maybe if there's an easy way to export the jobs from your other system, we could actually upload them here. And so they would be listed in both places, but these
Perfect.
links here would just link out to wherever you're hosting those jobs now.
That's great. Let's try to do that. That'd be perfect. Yeah, thank you. Okay, a few more questions we have time for. I can't see any of the students, so I don't know if you're signaling or waving. It's better just to unmute. Go ahead and ask away. No questions?
Hopefully it was all very user-friendly looking and kind of self-explanatory. We try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah. Well, this is excellent, Tawny. Thank you so much for the walkthrough step by step. This recording is going to be shared with other students that couldn't make it today. If anyone who's on this webinar has questions, send me an email and I'm happy to also walk you through it and help you get set up. I strongly encourage you to sign up today. It literally costs you nothing. And it's really a good way to get connected and get information in the door to help you about your goals and even to shape those goals if you're not sure. I love that they have a button that says, I'm not sure. I wish that was an option on most forms that I fill out. I'm not sure. But let's figure it out. We can figure it out. So, all right, I encourage you guys. I'm so excited that you showed up today. I do want to share with you our upcoming events. I want to share with you, we're having 3 more events in February. Next week, we have Women in Biotech. These are actually IT professionals in the biotech industries. They are women who are in leadership positions at their companies. These are big global companies for the most part, and they are going to be talking with us and with questions that students, female students from 4Cs have submitted about their experiences in biotech, which is an industry that it would be great to be a part of, because Massachusetts is really one of the leading geographic areas for biotech. So this is going to be a great conversation to listen in to, moderated by female 4C STEM students and a student at WPI who's a former intern with the STEM network. Everyone is welcome. Please be a part of this conversation and come to listen to that on next Tuesday at 12:30. I think that's, no, it's not Tuesday. It's, what is that? Thursday. Okay. Then the following week, we're going to do mock interviews. So we're going to have 10-minute interviews with HR managers. Actually, Garrett is one of them, the mentor that we've just been speaking about. And Angela Hurwitz, who's now teaching at the college, but she's in HR. She's got a lot of experience with HR and hiring for IT and networking. And she's going to tell you how to be successful in a job interview. And then we're going to practice. So join that, sign up with these links. And then the day after, we're going to do scholarships and the Cape Cod Educational Foundation, as well as the Cape Cod Community College Educational Foundation, as well as the Cape Cod Foundation, have scholarships that are specific to Cape residents, specific to 4C students. So don't miss that. And I encourage you to sign up. It's a Zoom link, and it'll send you an actual link for the day of the event once you register. That's all we have for today. Thank you guys for being here. Good to see you all.